Hey all you cool cats and kittens, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Xoxo, this is Xoxo Tarot, and in today's Pick a Kitty Cat reading, we are going to be looking at a pretty specific topic that is quite broad, which is what is the best choice for you to make? So let me give you a rundown of how this reading is going to work. I have all of your cards already shuffled that we're going to use for this reading, and essentially most of them are divided into outcome A and outcome B. So your job for this reading is to essentially decide what your choice A is and what your choice B is. And this could be anything. You know, tons of different questions fit this topic, like should you stay or should you go? Should you move here? Should you move there? Should you try this job or should you change things up completely? There are so many different topics, questions that you can ask. So as long as you are trying to make a decision between two different things, this reading is for you. So I will have the cards laid out in the reading between choice A and choice B so that it'll make it easier for you to decide, this option is going to be my option A, and this option is going to be my option B. And then what I'm going to be doing, so I want you to do that before the reading starts. And if you are an anxious person who overthinks things, definitely write it down so that you're not questioning yourself mid-reading. And then once you've done that, we are going to look at what the outcome will be if you go with choice A and what the outcome will be if you go with choice B. I am not going to be telling you what decision you should make. That is up to you to decide. Knowing me though, I am allergic to being completely neutral and not giving my opinion. So I'm sure I will give my 2 cents here and there, but ultimately it is up to you to decide which outcome feels like it's best for you and most aligned with you. And then we will just get some guidance for you in terms of making this decision and making sure that you are in alignment with just what's best for you and are in a place where you're able to make the best decision for yourself. So with that being said, we have 3 different kitties and 3 different groups to choose from. Why is this reading cat themed? Because it can be. So starting with group number 1, we have this Mookaite Jasper cat that's all curled up and looks like it's taking a little nap. And then for group number 2, we're going to be using the same cards for every group. We have this green Aventurine lucky cat on top. And then for group number 3, we have this Angelite long-haired cat on top. Really reminds me of my old Himalayan cat, Maui. May he rest in peace. And if you guys have any cats, definitely let me know about them. I would love to hear about them. But go ahead and pause the video if you need to decide which pile you feel most drawn to. It's absolutely okay to be drawn to more than one. I also wanted to say that if you are trying to decide between more than 2 options, I don't know if it'll work, but you could try choosing 2 of the options and then picking a group and then seeing, which of those 2 options is best, and then weighing that option in another group. I don't know if that'll work, but you could try it and see. I don't know. I'm just hoping that this reading helps you in general, but we are gonna go ahead now and make our wish. I am using the High Priestess candle today. I also wanna mention we have mini candles out now that also come with a mini tarot card inside, so that will be linked below if you are interested. But I thought the High Priestess would really fit for this reading because, sometimes it's hard making decisions and we really have to trust our intuition. So I'm hoping that some of the outcomes align with what you've been feeling intuitively. But if you are unaware, every candle comes with a mini tarot card, and that is our mini reading. So we are going to go ahead and make our wish and look at what card is inside. Ooh, okay, so we have the Knight of Pentacles. Before we make our wish, one thing that is just coming into my head is don't give up. So I want to say that now before I forget it. But if you would like to pause the video to just take time to set the intention for what your wish is, feel free. May yours, mine, and all of our wishes come true. Thank you for making a wish with me. I wish that, oh, I can't say what I wish because then maybe it won't come true. Do you believe that? Intro squad, let me know what superstitions do you believe and what superstitions do you think are not real? I would love to hear. But our mini tarot card is the Knight of Pentacles. So like I said, the first thing I heard when I saw this was don't give up. And the thing about the Knight of Pentacles is that he is definitely the slowest knight in the deck. You know, knights are about action. But the thing is about the Knight of Pentacles is that he gets to his destination, and what he is taking action towards, he is going to do it, come hell or high water. The Knight of Pentacles really personifies the tortoise in the old story, The Tortoise and the Hare, you know, about slow and steady wins the race. This is all about encouragement for you continuing on your path. I feel like this could be helpful in terms of decision making, but if you are feeling good about the path that you're on, or just kind of unsure if you should keep going, I feel like this is your sign to do so. I also feel like if you've been wondering about whether someone might come forward or someone might take action towards you, I feel like it's a yes, but it's going to take some time, and it probably won't be on the timeline that you were expecting. If you don't like that answer, then maybe manifest a quicker response. But I feel like this Knight of Pentacles is really powerful because it's really encouraging you to stay the course on what is working, and also to have faith in the hard work that you're putting in. I definitely feel like this is a you get out what you put in kind of energy that is happening right now. And I feel like this could also be tying into the reading where you're really being encouraged, whatever choice you do make it with your whole heart. You know, I'm thinking of the quote, don't half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing. And I really think that one thing that you need to hear is that the results that you're looking for may take longer than you're hoping, but that doesn't mean they're not coming. In fact, there's assurance in whatever results you're hoping for are going to come. They are going to come, but it is going to come through consistent effort, and it's also going to be something that happens in due time. So, you know, if you're planting a seed and expecting it to bloom tomorrow, you might be disappointed. But if you tend to that seed and care for it, it will bloom into the beautiful plant, flower, whatever it is meant to be. So I definitely think that this is your sign to not give up on what you believe in, not give up on what your goals are, and to also trust that the work you're putting in is creating a solid foundation for even more security, even more abundance, even more prosperity and results that you're looking for. I also think that if there is an earth sign teenager in your life, they could be thinking of you, wanting to say hi. Or if there's just an earth sign person that you really care for, this could be a sign that they are doing well, or that they just wanted to say hi to you through the ether, or that they're thinking of you. The earth signs are Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. And I think also, maybe for those of you that stuck around for this part, you know, if you are having trouble knowing what decision to make, I definitely think whatever decision you do make, you should keep the material realm and account for it. So, you know, what decisions are going to be best for you in terms of finances, what decisions are going to be the most stable, the most supportive for you. I feel like that is something you want to think about. But I definitely think that there is this emphasis here on don't take a lack of results quickly as a sign that you're failing. Take it as a sign that what you are sowing is much bigger than what you're anticipating. But that's why this consistent work is being put in, because you will get results. And I feel like for some of you, you could be doing the hard work of like changing your health, changing your lifestyle, like living a healthier lifestyle. And I feel like there is this huge emphasis on not giving up on that, and reminding yourself that like the changes that you're making are about your health and your wellness, not about, you know, appeasing society and what they think you should look like. And also reminding you that, you know, if you have unrealistic goals of what you think you should look like, or how much you should have changed in a period of time, remember that all bodies are different, so is yours. And the fact that you know, true healthy change is not about appearance, it's about feeling, and it's about what's best for you. And this reading is all about what's best for you. So I'm excited to get into the reading. I hope that mini message resonated. Definitely let me know if it did. But once you have picked your kitty or kitties, I will see you in your reading. Hi there, Pile 1. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the sleepy Mookaite Jasper kitty, this is going to be your reading on what decision is best for you, what choice should you make. So I have the cards divided between the outcome for if you choose choice A and the outcome for if you choose choice B. It is up to you to decide what choice A and choice B represent. So if you need to pause the video and kind of feel out the vibes of both groups, feel free to, but make sure you write it down or make a note in your head. This decision is going to be my decision A, and this decision is going to be my decision B. And so now we're going to go ahead and look at what the outcome of both of these decisions will be. So we're going to start with the outcome of if you choose decision A, whatever your decision A is. So for that, we have manifesting, we have heal the ouch. I want that there. We have the Fool, and we have the Four of Swords. Okay, so option A, if you go with option A, the outcome of choosing your option A will be one where things will slow down. Well, I guess it kind of depends where you're at. Option A for you, the outcome is one where you're open to infinite possibilities, but it seems like the result of this decision gives you the opportunity to really slow down and heal. It also gives you the opportunity to clear away all that really shouldn't be there anymore. It's definitely an opportunity to take a step back, kind of exhale, and really look at what within you needs your care and attention, needs healing, and also leaving you open to not only clear away what doesn't serve you anymore, but also make room for potential possibilities of what you want your future to be. So with the Four of Swords being here, it definitely matches the sleepy kitty vibe. You'll definitely be spending more time resting, more time going inward, more time kind of retreating. I wouldn't be shocked if your social circle or the people you spend time with is carefully curated and is more centered around people that are gentle or that make you feel safe. I definitely feel like if you are wanting to make moves, option A is not the best option for you, because this is less about making moves and more about healing from the past, getting rid of past energies that no longer serve you, but also leaving yourself open to infinite possibilities of what you want the future to be. I feel like this is an opportunity to look at what you can create, not necessarily an opportunity to make tons of things happen. So if your life is really hectic right now and you feel like you need to slow down, I definitely feel like you're getting that with choosing option A. I also feel like, though, there could be some insecurity around choosing this option, especially with the Fool card being here. Not saying that you'll feel like a fool, but I feel like you could run into insecurities around feeling like you should be in a different place or that you should be moving along further or more quickly than you are. I definitely feel like option A is one where you get to slow down. You get to really take a breath. And, you know, for some of you, especially if you've been through a lot recently, this option A is one where you can be like, okay, what have I really been going through, and processing things. I definitely feel like option A for you is one where you get to make space to really prioritize your healing and well-being and decision-making that is going to allow you to continue prioritizing that. I definitely think that if you are unsure of what you want for your future, option A gives you that opportunity to explore and also shift your perspective and your mindset to one that is maybe more aligned with a calmer, more relaxed, more healed version of you. And I do just want to say, like, there's nothing, like, healing is a process that never ends, right? And we don't have to be perfectly healed or, you know, do certain work in order to be worthy of certain things. You're already worthy as you are. But I definitely think that there is infinite possibility for what could come with option A. It's definitely a more gentle choice, but there could be heaviness in what needs to be healed. It's definitely like, you know, if you outrun your demons and you get tired of that, and so you decide to take a break and actually face them, you know, there could be heaviness in facing the wounding that comes up. But the beauty of this option is that you have the space and the time to really process that and work on that heaviness. I definitely feel like it would give you a lot of rest. I definitely think sleep would be a big prioritization here. And I definitely think that it's one for dreaming, less for doing. It's one for reflecting, one for nurturing, not necessarily one for taking action and springing forward. We're going to look more into this, but I want to go ahead and look at what the outcome for option B is and kind of see how these two options differ and just see what option B is for you. So if you go with choice B, here is the outcome. We have Fortune. We have Wizard of Awareness. We have the Eight of Wands. We have the Page of Cups and the Magician. Okay, so option B is like the complete opposite of option A. If you choose option B, things are gonna happen and they're gonna happen fast. This is definitely an outcome that involves you making tons of moves, gaining prosperity, or just making choices that lead to more prosperity. There's also you're more actively in manifestation energy. And one thing I'm seeing here, especially with this Wizard of Awareness, there's a level of, well, the Wizard of Awareness and the Page of Cups, there's a level of emotional rebirth and renewal that this choice gives you, where you end up becoming more neutral in what you're creating and kind of becoming an observer of your life in a way where you're not attached to the results that you're getting. Instead, you are almost treating it like you might be like a manifestation scientist, in the sense that like you're in the process of creating things that have meaning to you. You know what you want to create, you know what you're going for, and you're receiving the results of that. Now, I don't think one option is better than the other. We'll go into option B more deeply, but I feel called to say that, you know, they're both, like, there are two separate groups in this reading. For some of you, option A sounds like a lot of what you've already been doing and what you've been dealing with, and you're tired of it. And so I definitely think if you are ready to make moves in the third dimension, you are ready to up your game and really start creating, to be empowered in what you create and have more fun and just lighthearted experiences. I definitely think choice B gives you more energy, and it also gives you the opportunity to actually put into action the dreams that you have been cultivating. But if you've been running yourself ragged, if you're like, I'm not even really thinking about the future because I just need a break, I definitely think option A is for you. The cool thing though is that no matter what you choose, I feel like you're still creating desired outcomes that you're wanting for your future, even if you don't quite know what those are yet. You know, it's like option A's outcome is one where you get to start setting up your garden. You know, you're toiling the soil, you're kind of figuring out where you want to put it and things like that. Option B is one where you've already planted the seeds and now you are tending to that garden. You are working on it every day. I definitely think as well, there's a lot of clarity if you go with option B, where you're not questioning yourself for sure. And I also feel like you will have a lot more energy. Like you will just be excited. The one thing I will say with this Eight of Wands is the things that you reap could leave you just as quickly if you are not responsible with it. Like, you know, for example, let's say, you know, you made a decision that got you a windfall of cash. You know, if you make the choice to spend that on, you know, things that aren't necessarily the most pragmatic, which there's nothing wrong with, you might not keep a lot of that prosperity, but it's like you could just get more again. I feel like there is this putting the, is the phrase pedal to the metal to the pedal? I think it's putting the pedal to the metal. I think. It sounds weird coming out of my mouth now. But this is really speaking into reality. Option B is speaking into reality what you want. If you have been trying to create change, if you've been wanting life to change, if you've been wanting to finally get the results of the hard work, if you've been doing the healing, like, I definitely think whatever choice B is going to be the more prosperous one for you. I also feel like it's going to be one that renews your confidence in yourself and confidence in your abilities to create. You know, one thing that I think is hard for us as humans to realize is that we are creator beings, and that we do play a role in the outcomes that come to us. You know, obviously there are things outside of our control, but we do have the power to create, and we do have the power to say yes and no to what we do want and what we don't want. And I definitely think whatever decision B is, it will allow life to speed up. It will allow life to, you will be in a position where you are making decisions that bring you more prosperity. I definitely feel like this decision could be connected to your inner child in a certain way. With the Page of Cups being here, I definitely feel like there is a lot of opportunity for excitement, creativity, just fun, joyful opportunities. I definitely feel like you'll be very connected to your intuition, and I actually think whatever choice B is for you, the outcome that we're looking at, I think, is going to restore your confidence in your intuition if you resonate with being someone who is ready for things to change, ready for life to start speeding up. Because I feel like for some of you, you've been in a place where things have been, you know, you've been going fast, you've been going hard, you've been living life, and it's like you need rest, you need a break, and there's definitely a desire for you to take a step back and relax and just really process the past few years and what you've been going through, and really reassess, is the direction I'm going in what I want? Are my actions aligning with the future I want to create? If you're in that group, I definitely think option A is for you, because not only are you giving yourself more time and space to really look at the possible opportunities before you, but like, let's say, for example, you resonate with like running ragged and maybe needing a break, but you're looking at choice B and being like, yeah, but choice B sounds a lot more exciting. Choice B sounds like I can get what I want faster. And I feel like that might be a be careful what you wish for kind of thing, because if you haven't taken stock, if you haven't really reflected on what you want, you could very well, if you go with choice B, be creating things that just that are not the outcomes you actually want. They could be the outcomes you thought you wanted, or outcomes that you didn't really reflect on whether you wanted them or not, because you were just pushing forward. You didn't want to really stop and reflect. So if you are in that place where you kind of know that it would be better for you, easier on you, gentler for you to kind of take a step back and you know, heal, reflect, and think about what you want to create, I definitely think option A is for you. But if you've been in a position where you've been healing, life hasn't really been moving forward, you haven't really been, you know, there is unlimited potential before you, but it seems like you're kind of in a place where it's like, yeah, I've got all this unlimited potential, but I'm really ready to start making a decision. I'm ready to start making moves. I'm ready to start making things happen. Choice B is definitely for you. No matter what, though, I feel like if you go with choice A, it's leading you to choice B. And if you choose choice B, I feel like it's because you've already been in the energy of the outcome of choice A in some way. I definitely feel like choice A is a step to choice B, if that makes sense. And what I really love about option B is that the clarity that you have in what you're creating is one that comes from doing inner work, that comes from really asking yourself, what is it I want out of life? What is it I want to create? There is a clarity in your connection to the greater universe, your thoughts, your emotions, and the material world around you, and you're making shit happen. It's happening fast, and I feel like it's exciting. I definitely feel like you could be getting results a lot quicker than you anticipated, and it's like you speak something into existence and then it just happens. Like, it's very shocking. Whereas for some of you, it's like, you know, you might be like, I don't know if I want to create more right now. I'm exhausted. If you resonate with being exhausted and really needing to slow down, I feel like option A is for you. And what you need to know about option A is that you're not failing. You're not doing anything wrong by making this decision. You're actually succeeding, because if you need that break, if you need that time to really get clear on what is aligned with you, what you do want to create, then I think option A is great, because not only are you giving yourself time and space to really ask yourself, okay, what is for me? What do I really want? But you also have the opportunity to resolve unhealed wounds and resolve past experiences that may follow you into the future if you don't address them. You know, a lot of times the same thing can show up in different clothing if we haven't learned those lessons. And so I feel like you know in your heart which choice is best for you, but ultimately neither choice is wrong. I feel like the only wrong choice is the one where if you have been in this process of healing for a long time and it's like you do want to make things happen, but a part of you is afraid. If you've kind of been in the outcome of A energy already and you resonate with that and you're like, it's comfortable, but there's a part of you that's yearning for more, and there's a part of you that knows like you're getting too comfortable, you know, you're kind of keeping yourself small and not pushing forward, then I do think option A is the wrong choice for you, and you should choose option B because you are ready for more. You know, sometimes what feels right is maybe just what feels comfortable, and I feel like for those of you that are ready to step outside of your comfort zone, you just haven't really given yourself that push yet. Choice B is going to be what gives you that push, and I think that if you've needed a sign that you're ready for that, you are. I feel like choice A is specifically for those of you where you are like, I just need a break. Like I just need things to be calm. I think I need gentleness while I heal and kind of move through this past energy. But I feel like for those of you where option A is what's better for you, that is what's leading. You are going to be led to option B in the future. And then I feel like there's another group of you where you're like, I've been in option A. So for a lot of you, this may be staying in the same energy, choosing the same thing, or just not doing anything differently. I feel like option B is definitely the one for you, because it's going to give you the opportunity to actually, you know, receive what you've been wanting to create, receive what you've been manifesting. And even if you don't know fully what you're manifesting yet, I feel like you're just naturally being called to decisions that bring about things that you didn't even realize you wanted, but that just support the person you're becoming. And you're like, wow, I didn't even realize I could have this. I definitely think as well, there's this sense of empowerment with choice B, where you're realizing like, I am a creator being and I can make things happen. And I am blessed. Like I definitely feel like there are blessings coming to you no matter what. But a part of these blessings coming to you, option B, choice blessings, they come from a level of clarity and knowing that that's what you deserve, and knowing that whatever risks you have to take or whatever changes you have to make are worth it, because they are leading to the person you want to be in the life that you want to have. I definitely feel like this pile, like there's really no wrong choice to make, like I said, except for those of you where you're staying in your comfort zone when you know you should have been evicted from that comfort zone a little while ago. I don't know why I use that word specifically, but you may have to make that hard choice to say, okay, I'm ready to leave that and really start spreading my wings and flying. But I feel like for those of you that know in your heart option A is better for you, but your ego's like, no, option B, like we're fine, definitely choose option A, because I feel like if you go with option B prematurely, you could create things that are not what you actually want to manifest. I feel like whatever option B is, if you're not in a place of clarity, if you're not in a place of knowing what you want, and a place of like heartedness with it, where like option B, like the outcomes of it, of choosing B, you'll be in this energy where there's a lightheartedness around like what you're creating, and you're not so seriously invested in the outcomes of what you're creating, not so seriously. There's like a playfulness to it. And so, you know, if you're not in an energy where you feel like you can be playful, option A is for you. Because the Page of Cups reversed can be very emotionally draining, you know. So if you're heavily invested, you could over catastrophize things or feel like you're making things worse. And I feel like if you choose option B and you know in your heart you're not ready for it, you know in your heart you need more time to process and just release, heal, regenerate, you could just create more chaos for yourself that will just eventually lead you back to option A anyway. And I feel like for all of you, there is this powerful message of you are not behind. You're exactly where you're meant to be. You know, please stop comparing yourself to other people and assuming that you have to be on the same timeline as them. Your timeline is unique, and not only that, but everything is happening in the perfect time, in the perfect way. And even if you make the decision that ends up not being the right one for you or the best option for you, there's always redirection, there's always learning, there's always growth. But I feel like no matter what, you really can't mess up here. Like the worst case scenario is if you choose option B and you're not, and really option A would be better, then I think that you're gonna reap a lot of chaos, and like you are going to see your manifestation powers at work, and how that can be kind of messy when you're not clear on what you want, or you're creating from a place of uncertainty or a place of anger or from a place of trying to prove yourself or from a place of ego, and then being led to option A. And then on the flip side, if you know option B is really the one that you should go for, that you're ready for that, but you're staying in option A because you're afraid, then you're just prolonging the inevitability of your own prosperity and forward momentum. And ultimately, you're gonna be led to the right choice through your actions no matter what. And the right choice is what's best for you. You know, I would really love for people that pick this group to comment like where you're at and what decision feels best for you, because I do feel like there will be people that really need option A and people that really need option B. And I feel like you guys need to understand that like you will have both. Like for some of you, especially the ones that are choosing option B, you've already been in option A. So it's like you get that. And I bet you would even agree with me that it's like, yeah, I really needed that time to kind of just decompress and reassess what I wanted out of life and give myself the opportunity to be open to pathways that I didn't realize were available to me. And I feel like, you know, some people that may be in this A energy already, you just need to hear that you can do it, and that you're ready, and you are. And I feel like for all of you, like there is more prosperity, there is more peace and more empowerment coming in your future, no matter what, whether it is you need to take a pit stop before you head to that destination, or whether you are ready to head for that destination already. No matter what, like, you're doing amazing, sweetie. I'm not worried about you. I really think you need to give yourself a pat on the back for making the decision that's best for you, and I think you just need to trust that you know what you're fucking doing. You don't need to worry. Trust yourself. Treat yourself. Trust yourself. Okay. So let's go ahead and just get some guidance now for helping you make the best decision for yourself. So these guidance cards are just going to kind of represent, you know, what you need to know moving forward, and just what guidance will be helpful for you in terms of making the right decision. So to start, we have expansion, and I actually want to read the book for this one. This does deal with the throat chakra, so I definitely think that like if you're wanting to do any energy work, working on your throat will be helpful. But I feel like this makes a lot of sense because no matter what choice you pick, there is expansion involved. You know, if you go with choice A, the expansion involved is partially clearing out the mental, emotional, spiritual, and maybe even literal clutter that may be making it hard for you to heal, grow, change, and on the same token, you know, expand. And for those of you that are choosing option B, it's a lot more overt. Like this expansion is about stepping beyond what you thought possible. This is about you choosing the life that you desire, making the decisions that, you know, just lead to more. Like option A is like, I'm gonna take a step back so that I can release what doesn't serve me, what I don't need, so that I can have more in the future and make space for that. And option B is like, I've made that space. I'm ready for more, even if I'm afraid, even if it doesn't feel comfortable, even if I feel nervous, I know that I'm ready for more. Like, hi, Britney Spears, I'm gonna give you more. Like, that's the vibe. But I really want to read this card for you guys. So this is the Chakra Wisdom Oracle, and each card has a little story in it. So this says Sky God. You'll see it when you believe it. Sky God was seeking wise counsel to choose the color of the sky. He wanted the beings of the earth to feel serene when they looked at his work. Other great spirits remind him to trust his intuition. He will know the right color when he sees it. Sky God trusts and sees the color clearly. Thus the sky becomes sky blue. The inspiration is seeking good advice is vital when you are pushing into new territory. Stay away from anyone who is critical of your dreams. This indicates possibly changing your friends. So definitely if there are people in your life that make you feel small, or that you're like, I literally need space from you to heal, or like I need to cut this energy out of my life, definitely pay attention to that. You do not want people in your life that are not gonna root for you, you know? The personal inquiry is, how can I create powerful alliances? Are new people entering my life? And the key ideas are wise counsel, fruitful collaboration, spiritual support, state of uncertainty, and being guided. And the key words are counseling, connections, and progress. So I definitely feel like for all of you, getting the support systems that will help you, I think, is a great option no matter what you're choosing. I think what support systems are best for you is different. Like for some of you, you may need to go to like therapy or counseling, but for others, maybe you need like a life coach or, you know, a mentor or a guide to just kind of give you advice. But there's a little meditation here that I think you guys should try maybe after this video. But imagine something that you believe to be impossible for you to achieve. Maybe your dream job, more money, a divine relationship. Can you imagine it? Repeat aloud, I know this is possible. Say this phrase until you believe it. When you are ready, let it go. If you know your desire can be, it already is, which I just think is beautiful. And I think that like one core theme for all of you is you need to know that you are worth it and you do deserve the best that life has to offer. You deserve to receive. You don't deserve to feel guilty for that. And no one is entitled to tear you down with their misery. No one is entitled to be the director of your life. No one is entitled to tell you how you should do things. They will, because that's what people do, but you don't have to accept it and you don't have to agree with it. I feel like for all of you, no matter what, there is a powerful lesson and opportunity here in trusting your own gut, trusting in your own truth, and recognizing that just because it's not here yet doesn't mean it won't be. Because I feel like, especially for those of you that are ready for option B, like these things are gonna manifest faster than you're anticipating, and you're gonna be like, holy shit. That song, Life is a Highway, is coming through. That could be significant in some way, but I also feel like you guys just need to I feel like the biggest inhibitor for all of you right now is just the belief that the worry or fear that you need to be elsewhere, or that you're not worthy of the life that you're truly wanting in your heart. And I feel like you need to put a stop to that shit and say, no, we are worthy, we do deserve it. And also, we do not have to accept anyone or anything that makes us feel like we're undeserving, or that we have to stay small or stay in a cycle that we know isn't serving us. So let's see what else there is. We have balance. I surround myself with people I love and enjoy my time with them, but I also take my time to nurture my relationship with myself. I have found a healthy balance between being with friends and having self-care time. So I definitely think no matter what choice you pick, that's great. Having a balanced approach, I think, no matter what, is quite powerful. I feel like with option A, a lot of the balance, I feel like the balance for you is more like self-time versus time with others. But like the time you do spend with others, I feel like you need to be cognizant of those that you feel good around and those that drag you down, and kind of refine that, whether that's setting boundaries, making changes, whatever you need to do. But I feel like if option A is the one you're going for, be unapologetic about what it is you actually need. Option A is, if you're choosing that, it is not the time to make concessions for other people's needs. It's really the time for you to focus on your needs. And if people have a problem with that, then they need to see the door. Or at the very least, have some distance until they're ready to be realistic and fair to you. But if you're choosing option B, I definitely feel like being conscious of those that are supportive of your dreams, those that cheer for you, versus those that are jealous, or that are like, why isn't this happening to me? Like, it's happening for you, but why isn't it happening to me? Like, you're not there to answer that for them. That's their question to explore. And also, like, if they're not going to be happy for you, if they're not going to be supportive, surround yourself with other winners. You know, a winner mentality and a loser mentality, they're mentalities, and they can be changed. I have to take my birth control 1 second. So just to summarize there, that kind of messed with my flow. In more ways than one, if you know what I mean. The birth control girlies get it. yeah, finding your balance is important, and balance isn't always 50-50. It's what really works for you. And I think if you're choosing choice B, your energy levels may be inconsistent, especially with this Eight of Wands, but I feel like it's because there's almost this intuitive knowing of when you need to rest and retreat and when you have the energy to get going again. But I do feel like no matter what, if you're going with choice B, you're gonna have more energy in general. But we also have it's time to take action. So I definitely feel like no matter what, you know what choice to make, and there's no reason to hesitate further. I definitely feel like Spirit is saying throughout this reading, you've known what choice is yours. I feel like you've gotten that validation, especially if you're here this far. So stop delaying, stop putting it off, and it's time to just get started, because I feel like that's what you want anyway. So whatever choice you know in your heart is calling to you, make it, because there's no reason to delay it any further. There we go. Surrender your attachment to results. The formula for success is to do all you can to, quote, make things happen, then let go of the results. Holding on too tightly to a desired outcome can sabotage it. So that's what we talked a lot about in this option B, and even option A as well, because I feel like in option A, you're not really attached to results because you don't know what you're creating yet. You're kind of in this place where you're like, I just want to deal with the results of my past and kind of take a second before I think about what I want to create for the future. But definitely option B, I think that playful Page of Cups energy is really helpful, because it's helping you be less attached to whatever the results are. And then also realizing like, wow, okay, when I'm less invested emotionally in how these outcomes happen, like it not only leaves room for more fun, but it just seems like things flow more easily. But finally, we have No Place Like Home, which I think is so beautiful. Because I feel like this is all about being authentic to what you truly need and recognizing like what I feel like for the vast majority of you, your heart has been speaking to one of the choices and knowing that that's what's for you. And maybe the only resistance you have is fear or doubts, or just feeling like, especially if your choice is choice A, feeling like, well, you know, what if I'm giving up, or what if people judge me, or who gives a fuck? It's none of your business what people think of you. And of course it's natural and human to be worried about that. But honestly, like, they don't have to live their life as you. They live their life as themselves. And like, we all know deep down what we need. And I feel like even if these changes feel scary and uncomfortable, your heart will tell you you're making the right decision, because you will feel this peace in knowing, like, even if I don't know what's going to happen, even if I know it's uncomfortable, I know I'm making the choice that's best for me, and I know that it's leading me to where I need to go. I definitely feel like there is this guidance with this card about not necessarily choosing what feels right, because what's right might be what's familiar. And so I feel like you really have to make sure you're looking at, am I choosing what's right for me, or am I choosing what I think, or am I choosing what's familiar and feels comfortable so that feels right? Also, am I choosing what is truly right for me, or am I choosing what other people say is right? I feel like that is important as well. But I will just finish this reading off with a little personal story and how this energy can manifest itself. So if you don't want to listen to that, you can go ahead and leave me here. Thank you so much for watching, and please feel free to leave a like if you want to. But thank you to all who do. I am moving and just bought a house. And that's been something, like, that issue has been something that's like on my mind for a really long time. And it literally happened within the span of a day. I saw a house that I liked and I sent it to my mom, and she was like, oh, well, someone already put an offer in that house. And I was like, oh, that's a bummer. But when I went to the place that I'm moving to, which I realized I wanted to move to because that's where my heart was, I looked at a place that I really liked, and when I saw it in person, I was kind of bummed out, and I was just like, oh, this isn't for me, but like, this isn't worth buying. And I was just feeling a little discouraged, and just kind of like, because the market in the place I'm moving to is, the options are a lot more limited. And I said to my friend, you know, I just really wish that I could feel settled. And then literally the next day, we find out, oh, the person that put in an offer on the house that I was originally interested in rescinded their offer because they wanted to do something else. I get to go see the house that day. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this. Like, it seems perfect for me. Have to put in an offer that night because there's already 2 other offers on it. I wake up the next day and find out that they picked my offer, which, like, I was just like, holy fucking shit. And I also, like, can I just thank you guys so much for being the reason why, like, I'm able to do that. It's, like, kind of making me emotional, but, like, thank you so much for being here and supporting me and, like, allowing me to create that stability in my life. I'm genuinely so grateful. But, like, it literally happened 8 of Wands style, where it was like, I really wish I could be more settled, and I really liked this place, and the universe made it happen, like, in ways that I couldn't have even imagined. Like, I wasn't attached to it, and that's the thing too, is I was not attached to it. I was like, well, if it happens, it happens, but I was thinking logistically. I was like, you know, there's a 2/3 chance they don't take my offer, so, you know, whatever. If I don't get it, I didn't think I was gonna get it anyway. So I saw how decision B, like, this energy manifested for me in real time just recently. And so I want you to know, not only is it possible, but it's like, it's very powerful in terms of how it can happen, because you don't have to be so conscious with it. Like, I knew for a while I wanted to move. I knew for a while I wanted to own something, but I didn't know where, I didn't know, like, what, and it just happened. And, like, it was just right, and it was perfect. And when I was bummed out or I wasn't happy with something, it's like the universe tweaked it and made it happen. So I just want you to know, like, it can happen for you. And I'm really excited for you guys no matter what, because I know that wonderful things are coming to you. And another piece of advice I would give you is don't settle. Don't settle, please, because what you truly want can and will happen for you. So that's my little story. That's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. And thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background, because that is one of the simplest and easiest ways to support me and help me pay my mortgage. Thank you. If you would like to support me in other ways, you can obviously check out my candles. We have mini candles out now. So if you're interested in the mini versions of my tarot candles, definitely check those out. Be sure to use code with 10% off. You can check out my social media, my merch. Not super active on there, but, you know, maybe I will be one day. Just trying to not rot my brain. You can check out other videos, especially ones with extendeds, but that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. Liking, commenting, subscribing, also very helpful. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the green Aventurine Lucky Cat, this is going to be your reading on what decision should you make. So before we look at the outcomes of both decisions, you need to choose what option A and option B are. I will say, if you choose option A and option B and then I'm reading them and it sounds like the choices are flip-flopped, it's absolutely okay to then be like, okay, I think I just need to flip-flop them. But I don't want to confuse you too much. I'm probably getting too confused. Trust your gut, trust your intuition, but make sure you're clear on what your option A and option B are, because we are looking at the outcomes of these decisions. So I started with them individually in group 1, but I think with you guys, I'm just gonna lay out both, because I found that there's a lot of benefit in analyzing both. So let's start by looking at the outcome of choosing choice A. So for choice A, we have gift giving. We have the Page of Cups. We have the Gentle Gardener. We have the Ten of Pentacles and Death. Okay. And then let's look at the outcome if you choose choice B. So for choice B, we have Harvest. We have Dry Desert. We have the Hierophant, as well as the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords. Wow, okay. I'm already seeing like very powerful, like there's definitely 2 clear outcomes here. So if you made a choice for like option A to represent this, and then it's sounding like option A really sounds like option B, just trust your gut. But Wow, okay. It definitely seems like you have a really powerful decision to make, and no matter what, it isn't an easy decision to make. It really feels like you're having to choose between your head and your heart / tradition or spontaneity. Let me just go into what I'm seeing here. I actually want to start with option B, because option B is very interesting. There is a specific storyline that I'm getting that you do not have to resonate with, but for some of you, I am getting the vibe that option B represents commitment in some sort of traditional relationship. We do have the Queen and King of Swords here, so that can represent counterparts, and the Hierophant often represents higher levels of commitment or traditional institutions. So if there is another person involved, I definitely think your involvement with them, especially if they're a very rational, logical, maybe more detached person. They could be an air sign, Libra, Aquarius, Gemini. They don't have to be. But option B is definitely one where you are choosing tradition and you're also choosing what makes sense logically. With Harvest, I do feel like there is a level of, you already know what you're receiving if you choose this, and it does seem like it is comfortable, but there is a level of effort and intention needed to continue cultivating that. I noticed that we have 13 and 31, so those could be significant numbers. The fact that they are mirrored, I think, is quite interesting. And with the Dry Desert card here, one thing that I'm hearing is that the value of choosing option B is definitely not seen at a surface level. There's definitely a lot of soul searching that will happen through choosing option B. And also, option B is one where there's less room for spontaneity. There's less room for chaotic change. Like, you are definitely getting more consistency. There's also a lot of independence. Like, if there is a relationship highlighted here, it definitely seems like a relationship that makes sense. It may not be the most emotionally fulfilling, but it is a logical decision on both of your parts. I definitely think that if this person is someone you're already with and you are hoping that they will become maybe more romantic or change into a different person, I definitely want to say straight out the gate, do not expect that. The person you are currently with is the person they will be if you choose to deepen the commitment with them, or be in a commitment with them. I feel like that's something you definitely need to know. Or if you're already in this commitment, I definitely think one thing you do need to be aware of is that the agreement is, and like the relationship between the two of you is definitely going to be very traditional, whatever traditional is for you, whatever you and them identify that as. It's definitely, promises will be kept though, and there's a lot of room for both of you to be independent and explore your ambitions. I definitely would say option B feels safer in a traditional sense, and there's nothing wrong with that. One thing I want to stress about both of these options I'm about to talk about is the best choice is not one or the other. The best choice is the one that seems right for you and right for what you're looking for. Some people need stability, need to know what is happening, and are much more comfortable with making decisions that make sense logically, even if that comes at the expense of certain dreams or certain desires, because they want that stability, they want that certainty. There is certainty in this choice B, where you kind of know what you're getting, and there is less flexibility. You know, you're definitely operating within specific structures, and this option B definitely requires patience and resilience, because there will be times, if you choose option B, where you will be unfulfilled, where you will feel like, is this certainty worth it? I definitely think that if you make some sort of commitment with someone else, whether they be a King or Queen of Swords, they will stick to it and they will not waver from it. I definitely think that, like, for example, this doesn't have to be a relationship. This could be a business decision. And with this business decision, there may be times where the business is not doing as well as you would like, or you're lacking inspiration, or you're feeling kind of drained. But there is value in this decision because there's a lot of personal exploration, and by holding out, there are rewards reaped. I definitely see with option B, there is a level of upkeep, maintenance, and work with this decision where it's like you get to reap what you sow. Actually, both options kind of have this theme of reaping what you sow. But I definitely feel like option B is more comfortable in terms of societal acceptance, in terms of knowing what you're getting. I definitely think that option B is one where the status quo of making this decision, like you and anyone else involved, like you will have a consistent status quo and it will not be changing. There is more rigidity in option B, and there is work in maintaining the benefits that come from choosing option B. I definitely feel like there are emotional sacrifices with option B where if you are more comfortable making decisions that make sense to you logically rather than emotionally, option B is definitely likely going to be more, I don't know if I want to say fulfilling, but I'm also a very emotional person. So I guess like, I don't know what fulfillment is like for a very logical person. So maybe it is more fulfilling to choose something logically. It may just be less stressful in terms of, you know what you're getting with option B. And I feel like if you are desiring grand change with option B or hoping that it'll change in the future, I don't see that happening. You will have to you will have to adhere to certain systems, and there will be like either institutions or traditions that you will have to adhere to if you do make this choice. And there will be times where it seems like either your authentic self or your more emotional, secretive desires have to be put down in order to do what makes sense and what you think is right and what these structures say is right. I definitely think that if this involves a partner, there's definitely a meeting of the minds, mutual respect, similar ideals, similar values. There's definitely a level of logic here, but this is definitely not a very clingy relationship. And this is definitely one where I would say it's likely that both of you could be working individually on your own ambitions together. There could be a lot of time spent alone, or just spend, like, even if you're together, you may not be connecting on a deeper level beyond like, this is what needs to happen, this is what we need to do. Option B is definitely more pragmatic if you are someone, or more aligned with you if you are someone who thinks logically, wants to go about life in a logical manner, wants to have more certainty in your outcomes in life. Like the difference that I'm seeing between option A and option B is like, if you're bowling, with option B, there's those like guardrails up so that your ball doesn't go into the gutter. You know, sure, you might throw your ball or is that what it's called? Throwing the ball? I don't know, rolling the ball, moving the ball to the pins. You know, there might be times where you only hit 1 pin or 2 pins, and there are other times where you'll get a strike, but the pins are always reset. And the one thing you do know is your ball's not gonna go into the gutter. And so if you're afraid of your ball going into the gutter, metaphorically, literally, it sounds kind of gross. Option B is definitely safer, and you know what you're getting. Now, with option A is one where you get to be your own person. And one thing that I see with option A is that there is something that you have to release in order to go with option A. And I do feel that there is a level of judgment or misunderstanding that may come your way as a result of choosing option A. But if you prioritize emotional fulfillment, unlimited possibilities, and the freedom to consciously create things that your heart desires, option A definitely sounds like something that's more up your alley. Now, it definitely seems like there is something hard in choosing option A, like you have to let go of maybe something more traditional, or you have to let go of people's perceptions of you because they may not understand why you're making a certain decision. You may have to let go of familial approval or approval from your culture. Option A is definitely for the dreamers that know that they couldn't survive in a rigid system and knows that it would suck their soul dry and they'd be miserable. Option A, people might even think that you're a bit immature for choosing this, but you know, we do live in a society where matters of the heart and matters of the spirit are usually not prioritized or valued, but there is rebirth and transformation here. There could be an ending of financial stability in making this choice, but what I do see here is there is the opportunity to cultivate your own stability, and possibly even more than you could imagine. But that might require a willingness to be uncertain, to cut down, and you know, and it may be too that, like, for example, let's say you're making a decision that your family doesn't approve of, and your family is in a certain financial bracket, so you're used to certain comforts. Option A may require sacrificing certain comforts and living at a different, living within different means. And while that might be uncomfortable, it might be, you might find it's a lot more satisfying to your heart and spirit, you know? If option B were a traditional office job where you know you're going to be getting a consistent income, if you know that would suck your soul dry, but option A is like starving artist, there's two different types of personalities. Some people do not want to be a starving artist. Some people want to know where their check is coming from, what they're getting, what's happening, and other people are more comfortable with the chaos of life and more comfortable with creation and seeing what happens. So for option A allows you to truly be your own person, and that may require you being on your own more. I do think there's a level of loneliness in both options, because option A, I feel like there's loneliness in other people understanding your vision, having people that support you. And in option B, I feel like there is more community around you, or more like objective support systems, but there could be an inner loneliness around unexplored parts of yourself, if that makes sense. There could be a sense of loneliness in parts of you, like the more whimsical parts of you are not going to really be fed much with option B. It's like, if you want to explore those parts of you, if you choose option B, like they have to be within a certain system. Like there's only maybe so much time that can be allocated to that, or it has to work within the confines of the systems you're already adhering to and agreed to. Whereas with option A, the sky's the limit. Like, this, you really have to ask yourself, are you the type of person who thrives in knowing what you're getting, or who thrives in unlimited possibility? Because with option B, I think what you receive, like what you reap, is more immediate and also more consistent. You're going to be kind of knowing that. But with option A, there's surprises out the wazoo with this gift giving. There's also emotional fulfillment and whimsy that you will not experience with option B. With option A, it will feel like a back to basics sort of thing, where like you are reconnecting to parts of yourself that you forgot existed. And I do want to say, it is very important, if you are choosing option A, to have conviction in it, and also to really believe in yourself and really be open to unlimited possibilities and not sell yourself short. Because one of the key lessons of option A is that you will reap what you sow. You will get out what you put in. And also, so like, for example, if you chose option A, and then you were immobilized by fear and shame because people don't approve of your decision, and you don't believe in yourself, and you feel like you can't make it happen, you could very well create that outcome. And that might be very hard. And that might be something that really, and let's be real, even if that happens, that could be the very thing that catapults you into believing in yourself and into doing things differently. But with option A, you do not have the same level of support and safety nets that you have with option B. But with option A, you have emotional fulfillment and the opportunity. Not saying that you won't have emotional fulfillment with option B, but there's definitely a lot less. Like, there's definitely parts of yourself that will not be fulfilled. But I feel like for those of you where option B is the right choice, you know it's the right choice because it's not necessary for those parts of you to be fulfilled. Like for some people, it is essential that they be their authentic selves, even if that means more instability or uncertainty or chaos. Whereas for others, you know, that's less important, and stability, certainty, and societal, cultural acceptance and just tradition is more important. There's nothing wrong with either. And truthfully, you're gonna be judged no matter what decision you make, because that's the bullshit humans do. And I will say it again, there is no wrong decision here because both of them are leading to more discovery. But with option A, there is much greater room for achievement and success and failure. It's kind of the difference. Like option A and option B like are the difference between having a stable contract job and being an entrepreneur and working for yourself. The gains can be a lot higher, but so can the losses. Whereas with option B, you are operating within certain limits that give you a level of stability and certainty in what the future holds for you. There's also a certainty in any agreements you're making with people in option B. They are not going to pull the rug out from underneath you because they feel differently. This option B really requires a level of faith in your values and like being the type of person who will choose value and tradition and agreements over a shift in perspective or a shift in desires. Because like one thing that I'm seeing here is that for some of you, if you go with option B, it may logically be what's better for you, but there could be times where emotionally you're feeling unfulfilled and you might want to make a decision that you then end up regretting later because that emotional experience passes. But for others, if you are the type of person that just knows that you could not deal with that sort of structure, you know that like there are parts of you that are screaming to be heard, that are screaming to have freedom and creation, that that you may not know what that is yet, or that, you know, if you're yearning for unlimited possibility, option A is definitely for you, you know? Option A is all the way authentic to whoever you are, no matter how quirky or weird that is. And option B is being sensible and going by the book. Oh, I like that. And like I said, neither of them is wrong, but there are sacrifices with both. And I feel like that's kind of the hard thing is, you know, sometimes in life, like we want to have it all and we just can't because of the factors. Like we want our family to be on board with a decision that we make, but we just know how they are and they're not going to agree. And so a change in that support might really be hard. I definitely think with option A, it's like in order to embrace your true self and embrace what you want, you have to be willing to let go of what isn't, of what is holding you back and what something that you may really care about, but you have to, like, it's a level of being willing to accept the consequences of whatever that is in order to be so true to yourself that you get to explore the highs and lows of that. Option A is definitely for the people that want unlimited expansion. And the one thing that I will say is that with option A, the power to create is limitless. Like there is so much that you can create. And with like the Gentle Gardener literally talks about being your own person. And I definitely feel like the loneliness in option A is going to, I feel like you're going to find a wonderful friend in yourself and you're going to find people that are like you, but it may be hard in the beginning as you begin that transition and are stepping into a new phase of life, especially if there are people that don't understand it or don't support it. And then also, you know, if you're losing some sort of stability or support, you know, it may take time to get that back. And I feel like with Death and the Ten of Pentacles, there's lots of different interpretations here. Because I feel like if you want the same level of financial stability or more, you could absolutely cultivate that. But the sacrifice in the meantime is being willing to deal with that chaos and the steps that require you to get there and the uncertainty involved in that, rather than, you know, with option B, having a more set, okay, this is what I'm going to make every year. Okay, this is what's going to happen. It really comes down to what system is best for you. And, you know, and here's what I will say as well. Just because we're looking at 2 options doesn't mean they're the only ones. And it may be that both of these options sound terrifying to you in certain ways. Maybe there is an option C. Maybe there is a happy medium. You just haven't found it yet. Because I do feel like, you know, nothing in life is ever so stringent that there's only one option or the other. But because of how this reading is structured, you know, we're only looking at 2. So maybe looking at both option A and option B is giving you the opportunity to kind of see what sort of sacrifices both choices require. Maybe there's some sort of happy medium. Maybe there is some sort of change that or tweak that you can do to allow an option C to come through that fulfills maybe both your desire for more expansion and stability. Like, I definitely feel like there's no need to be hasty in making this decision, because no matter what, like, this is a big decision. And I feel like with both A and B, certain needs are being met. And I feel like what it really comes down to is how important is it for you to, like, are you the type of person that needs unlimited possibility, that needs to be a free spirit, that needs to be their authentic self, and that is comfortable and happy with the uncertainties of co-creation and being your own person? Or are you someone who needs stability, certainty, and support systems that, you know, help you feel safe and give you a level of security and stability that, you know, option A wouldn't give you? There's definitely, and I think one of the values of option, like, one theme for both options is that self-discovery and exploration is a core theme for both. But with option A, you're really like, that self-discovery and exploration is really trial and error. And like, you are exploring that in ways that are more overt and more like, I'm gonna try this, I'm gonna do that, and more chaotic. Whereas with option B, you're operating with a system, within a system that already exists, that has, you know, defined expectations, measurements, things like that. And you're basically exploring through that system because there are already things that are accepted and not accepted, right? But then also, you know, you're basically discovering yourself through, okay, this is how I'm supposed to operate within this system, and discovering what within you is in alignment with that and what isn't. And throughout that process, you're going to be discovering more about yourself and learning more. I definitely feel like no matter what decision you choose, I feel called to say you're not a bad person. And there isn't a wrong choice that you can make. And no matter what choice you do decide, just know that I feel like even if you went with option A, I feel like you always have option B to fall back on. And if option B doesn't work out, it might be a bit messier in moving towards option A, because definitely, I will say, if you go with option B and then you realize that actually option A, I actually want more freedom, I want to be more of myself, I want to be fully authentic, it will be messier transitioning from option B than to option A. I do think there is a little bit of mess no matter what, because I do think that there is external investment in whatever you choose, like, you know, family pressure or something like that. And, you know, I just want to say, I think it is just as valid to make a decision to appease your family if their support and their acceptance and their love is more important to you than exploring your authenticity to the point of disapproval. Like, I think that's okay. I know, like, that's not a very American opinion. I feel like the American narrative is always, you know, be an individual, be yourself. But I feel like it's absolutely understandable that not everyone is made to be the type of person who can live with those decisions and it not affect them. I mean, it can still affect them quite deeply. I think people that love them and disapprove of their decisions, I feel like that's always hard. But I think it's really easy to shame and villainize people that choose what is safer or what they know over uncertainty. And I feel like just whatever you choose, do it with your whole heart. choose it because you know what you're getting. I feel like with both options, like this reading, I really hope I'm giving it justice, because it definitely seems like, you know, it's not an easy decision to make and there is sacrifice in both options. I really hope that there is some sort of option C where you can find a happier medium, and maybe it will take time for that to happen and you'll have to kind of ride things out and kind of let the universe make some things happen. But I feel like no matter what, the right decision for you is the one that you know will bring you more peace. And like I said, some people find more peace and chaos in the unknown and the freedom of uncertainty and the freedom to create whatever. And other people find peace and certainty and having structure and having tradition. Neither is wrong. Both have benefits. I definitely feel like with option A, you have to lean on yourself more, definitely. But there is unlimited potential for what you can create. I definitely feel like it's more emotionally fulfilling. And the fact that we have gift giving here is you are going to be receiving gifts from the universe, 100%. There's definitely more balance in terms of, like, we have 4s and 2s and a 10. The only odd number that we have is 13 with death, which is interesting because we have 13 and 31 over here. So it definitely seems like letting go of some sort of structure that you care about may be really hard. But if you are the type of person that knows it is worth it and that you can't survive, you can't function in that, I do think there is rebirth and healing in rejecting that and choosing yourself. But there may be a grieving process and it may be hard to let go of that. And there's no telling, you know, how people might come around or look at things differently in the future. But from what I can see in the immediate moment, choosing option A may require losing some sort of approval or stability or certainty that you've come to be comfortable with or that you've had. But, you know, with option B, you have a much better idea of what you're getting. You're not going to be dealing with the highs and lows of uncertainties. You're not going to be in a commitment with someone or in an agreement with someone. This doesn't have to be romantic. Like I said, like this could be business related. This could be even a roommate situation, or just even a decision that appeals to you logically. Like, you're not going to have the rug ripped out from underneath you. Like, if anything, with option B, if anyone's ripping the rug out from underneath someone else, it's gonna be you, because you realize you can't survive in that environment anymore and be okay or be happy. So you really, like, option A and option B are like, you really have to know what you truly need. It's not about what you want, it's about what you need. Like, and sometimes what we want and what we need are different, and that's okay. But I definitely think that, like, the biggest caution I will give you with option B is that if you know you need that freedom and certainty and you choose option B because you're afraid, I do feel like if option A is the option for you, and I feel like deep down you know it, you're just afraid to make those changes, if you go with option B, it will be messier. Like, that process of getting to option A and actually getting that freedom, it will be messier than it necessarily needs to be by choosing yourself first before you get yourself into some sort of deeper commitment. But like I said, there isn't a wrong choice. This is about what you need and what will help you thrive. And so if you are the type of person that needs more certainty and needs that commitment and agreement and wants and thrives in that sort of traditional setting, even if there are parts of you that are unmet, then I would go with option B. But if you are the type of person that knows that your spirit will wither and die in an option B, and you know that you need expansive freedom and are willing to, you know, face uncertainty and go through the chaos that highs and lows can have, then I would say option A is for you, because it's like, with option B, there's much more certainty in what you're receiving and what's going to happen. But with option A, there's higher highs, lower lows, and much bigger gains, but potentially bigger losses as well. And like I said, neither is right or wrong. I'm very intrigued to know what the situation is. And I'm also very like, I just think my heart's with you guys, because I just feel like this isn't an easy decision, and it's definitely not one you should make flippantly or impulsively. I definitely think it's one that you should take time to really reflect on it and do some soul searching and really ask yourself, you know, what is going to be best for me? Like, I think about myself. You know, I've always wanted to live like in a big city like New York. Like, it's definitely something that my soul yearns for, but I know like that may be something that I want, but I need nature. I need time away from people. I need like a home space that, you know, is workable for me. Like, I feel like that's just an excellent example of this, where it's like, okay, so if moving to New York was the decision that I was trying to make, you know, an option A was moving to New York and option B was the more traditional side, I would probably go with option B, because I know realistically long term, the challenges of living in a big city are probably going to be harder on me than any gains I get from living there. I probably won't capitalize on all the opportunities, because I'm going to be drained from being around people all the time, and the noise is going to be overstimulating. Like, even just FaceTiming friends that live in New York, I'm like, how does that constant honking not bother you? Like, and I'm sure you get used to it, but like, this is just a clear example of like, you know, even though I might have that desire, I know realistically like how I am and what is more beneficial for me. And so that might mean living in a smaller, like a smaller town or a smaller place that has more nature, and sacrificing, you know, the opportunities or the exciting things that can happen in return for something that works better for me day to day, you know? So like, that's a small example, but you know, I would say I experienced option A and B in just doing this job, you know? In that case, I chose option A, and I don't regret it for a second, but it is very stressful and overwhelming sometimes being solely responsible for yourself and the pressures of the future and the uncertainty and the unknowing. But there is peace in knowing that my fuck-ups are my fuck-ups, and I'm not, well, I do think that there is frustration in like, you know, certain elements I can't control, like the way corporations change and shifts and how things are delivered and things like that. But you know, that requires me to be adaptable and not be rigid, right? So I feel like option A and option B, like the right choice can be different, literally just based on what the topic of your life is, you know? Maybe you want more spontaneity in your relationships, but you don't want more spontaneity in your career. Maybe you want more spontaneity, like maybe you want more freedom in how you're living your life, but you want stability in a relationship, you know? There's a lot to be weighed here, and I definitely feel like it is absolutely okay to take the time that you need to reach that conclusion. I definitely think like, if you haven't already, you really need to like reflect on the choices you've made in your life and ask yourself, okay, what decisions did I make because they made sense or they were logical and I thought they were right? And how did they turn out? How did I feel? And what decisions have I made because I wanted to, and how did they turn out? How did I feel about them? And really just kind of see. Also, I would look at your North Node in your birth chart and see what that is, because our North Node is what we're supposed to be moving towards in this lifetime. Maybe that will give you some insight. You maybe want to look into a birth chart reading. If you check out K-Moon Astro, she does great readings, but there's also plenty of other wonderful astrologers out there. My Moon Girl is another wonderful astrologer, and there are plenty, I don't know if she's doing readings anymore, so never mind. Not My Moon Girl. I don't know if she's doing readings, but if she is, she's great. There are so many opportunities here, and it's really all about you deciding what's best for you, and that might take some time. And you might make a decision you realize isn't the best for you, and there might be mess created, but that's okay, because even if it is messier, even if it is more chaotic or stressful than it needs to be, that's life, and life is not meant to be clear-cut and easily understood. We learn and we grow through every decision, and ultimately, you know, I feel like if there's one question you would ask yourself is, what choice, when you're at the end of your life, what choice will you look back on and be glad you made or regret not making? I feel like that could be really helpful. But I definitely think these guidance cards are going to be important. So these guidance cards are going to represent just guidance for making this decision in general and kind of what you need to know. So to start with that, okay, we have impatience. So I'm actually going to read that in the book and see what it says. We have the throat chakra here, so that's maybe an energy center you want to work with. But it says, electric blue moon. If I don't take care of it, it will never happen. So each of these cards comes with a little story. So the story says, Eaton grows impatient, waiting for dawn, so he buys a used moon. Once it is in the sky, he steps back to see his handiwork. The moon will not stay in place unless he holds the cord. Sky God assures him that dawn will come when he lets go, but Eaton is fearful and grips onto the cord until he falls asleep and releases it. When he awakens, dawn has come and the radiant light in the sky is blocked only by his used moon. The inspiration is, now is not the time to make a rush decision. I feel validated. You have made your needs known. Now leave it alone. So if you're not in the process of making your needs known, that's what you need to be doing right now. You may block something wonderful from coming to you if you are hasty. Personal inquiry, am I jumping the gun? If I am honest with myself, am I forcing something? Key ideas, scarcity thinking, being exhausted by your efforts, success through patience. And the key words are unfolding, revelation, success. And the meditation is, imagine something you strongly desire. The electric blue moon appears and cools the heat of your emotions. Write down any communication you receive from the moonlight. It is a message from the council of the great spirits. So I definitely think, like, you know, let's say, for example, the choice you're trying to make is, should I leave my stable job and, you know, follow this niche dream that I have where I'm uncertain if I'll be successful? Maybe you spend more time at that job preparing to make that transition so that it's less of a overt jump and less of a risk. Like, there could definitely be, I do feel like this impatience card is pointing to an option C that isn't here yet because just all the pieces haven't come together. So definitely, if you feel like there is a happy medium between these two choices and you feel like neither of these choices really satisfy or give you the answer you're looking for, I definitely think wait for option C or wait for one of these options to be clearer to you. But we also have doing our best. We are all doing our best with the understanding and awareness we have in this moment. Any decision I take is okay, no matter the outcome. I make the best of any situation and learn as I go along. And that's exactly what I was saying earlier. You know, all you can do is your best. And you know what? If you make a decision that leads to a messy outcome later and you have to change your mind, that's life and it happens. And it might be hard and it might create, you know, outcomes and shifts in relationships that you didn't want. But sometimes in life that just happens. We're flawed people and it's okay. We have what do you need to release, waning moon. So definitely think about, if you don't know what you want, I actually learned this last night, think about what you don't want and go from there. You know, if you can be decisive about what you don't want, then you could start thinking about what it is you do want and kind of exploring that. You know, if you know that you can't, like, that you hate, you know, a situation where you don't have room to grow or where there's no uncertainty, or you know you hate situations where there's a lot of room for failure or success and you don't have that stability, like, pay attention to those things. Think about what you don't want. That will help what you do. We also have surrender to the beauty of the natural world. Take a relaxing break and spend time in nature. Replenish yourself by feeling the beauty and ecstasy there. So maybe there are signs in nature, or maybe just spending time out in nature will give you the time to reflect. If you need a place to go and kind of find respite, I definitely think nature will be a great place to do that. But we also have chaos and conflict. So I definitely feel like this guidance is speaking to you specifically about the fact that, like, if things in your life are chaotic and you feel like you're being pushed into making a decision hastily, that will at least give you certainty, but at the cost of truly doing what feels right for you, embrace the chaos because it's maybe leading you to where you need to go. And then also with conflict, I feel like there's this guidance here that number one, it's okay to have conflict. It's okay to feel conflicted about what decision to make. Like, I feel like I'm even conflicted in delivering this message because it's like, there's value in both options. I see the beauty in both options, and it really comes down to, you know, what is more important to you, or are you willing to wait it out until it seems like a third option comes along? But I also feel like if there is chaos that doesn't seem to be subsiding, maybe it's because that chaos is what's setting up that option C, that third, maybe happier medium. But also I feel like, you know, if you are really holding back on doing something you truly desire and know that you're ready for and know that you want because you're afraid of conflict, you're afraid of upsetting people, I think this is an awesome opportunity for you to start getting comfortable with that, because not everybody is always going to be on board with what we want, and sometimes we have to take it for ourselves and accept that some people are going to support us and some people aren't. And you know, we can only hope that the love that exists there is hopefully strong enough that anything can be worked out, or things can be accepted, or people can come around over time, but we can't be invested in that. You know, there's a lot of growth in conflict, and there's a lot of growth in chaos, and I feel like no matter what, you can't mess it up. It might get messy, but messes can be cleaned, and there's a lot to be learned from that. And you know, it's really intense when you experience it, but I think a lot of things will make for good stories in the future, right? And I feel like no matter what, everything's going to be okay. And just the biggest thing I can tell you is don't rush this decision. Don't force yourself to do something, and really, really carve out time to listen to yourself and connect to yourself. Because one thing I will say, like with option A, you're going to get really close to yourself. And I feel like if the loneliness there is more like in terms of finding your people and like cultivating that might take some time. It's hard to find our people as adults. But you know, you get a much deeper connection with yourself and explore that. Whereas with option B, you're definitely only connecting to certain parts of yourself. And then the parts of you that you connect to less. Other people in your circle, you may have more people around you, but they may not see those parts or value those parts. And it may be harder to carve out time to support yourself through those parts. So pros and cons to both. If there is an option C, wait out for it. But no matter what, it'll be okay. And you've got this. And, you know, if you want to comment, you know, what you're going through, I'm sure there are other people that understand what you're going through and will be there. I'll be there intermittently, and I'm happy to give support or encouragement as best as I can. But yeah, pile 2, I feel like that's the best I'm going to be able to do in this reading, so I really hope it helped. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background, because that's one of the simplest and easiest ways to show support for me and my channel. If you'd like to support me in other ways, you can like this video, comment down below, let me know how it resonates, subscribe if you haven't already. Shout out to my notification squad. You can click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out my candles. We just had mini candles come out, so if you want to check out the mini candles, definitely do that. Be sure to use code ASO10 for 10% off. You can check out my merch. You can check out my social media or other videos, especially ones with extendeds. But that's all I have for you guys, so thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I really hope this reading gave you more clarity, or at the very least help take away some questions. But that's all I have, so I love you guys so much. My heart is with you. I know it'll be okay, and you've got this. Definitely come back to this reading if you make a decision, and let us know how it worked out if you want to. Thank you to everyone who shares. I love you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, pile 3. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Angelite long-haired cat, this is going to be your reading on what is the best decision for you to make. So before I lay out the cards, feel free to take some time to decide which choice is going to represent A and which choice is going to represent B. That is up to you. Though if I am reading the cards and it sounds like the choices are flip-flopped, the outcomes are flip-flopped, then feel free to reorient them. Just do what makes the most sense to you. But yeah, okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start by looking at, if you choose choice A, what will the outcome be? I'm actually gonna lay them both out because I find it I found it to be better in terms of comparison. So starting with the outcome for your choice A, we have seeking, we have flying, we have the Emperor, and we have the Two of Wands. And then looking at the outcome for choice B, and what will happen if you go with choice B, we have endings, right. We have sad embrace, we have the Two of Pentacles, the Emperor again, I love this Emperor card, and the Sun. Wow, okay, let me make sure, are they all in the, yes, okay, they are. So whatever this decision you're trying to make is, I feel like there is a very big difference between which choice is going to be right for you. And I feel like that's based in investment in what already is and recognition in what's possible should you continue on the path you've been on. I know that sounds kind of confusing, so let me explain. The cool thing is that no matter what choice you make, there is a sense of leadership and empowerment from making this decision where you feel more confident in yourself, you recognize the power in making the decision that's best for you, and also recognizing the power in taking your life into your own hands. But the difference between choice A and choice B is that if choice A is right for you, it's because you know that there's a reason why. There's already value in what you're choosing. So I would say that like choice B, for example, the fact that we have endings and sad embrace, choosing choice B would come about because there is something in your life that is literally inhibiting your ability to take the lead in your own life, to be empowered and to be happy. Whereas I feel like choice A, there's already, whatever you're making a decision about already has a level of value in your life. It's just that it may not tick all your boxes or satisfy everything, and you know that there's more to what you want out of life. And there's acceptance in knowing that in choosing choice A, it will take time for you to build upon what's already there, make it more of what you want. But there's almost this deeper knowing and this higher purpose in choosing choice A. Whereas choice B, there's like this unavoidable truth that in order to quite literally be happy, be in control of your own life, there is something that is blocking it, that you may be quite attached to, that you may care a lot about, that you know is the thing blocking it, that needs to end. And you know that that is going to be a very painful, grieving process for you to let go of that. It just might be very hard. And so it might just be like kind of a delaying the inevitable type thing. It's kind of like choice A is like, okay, I have this already existing situation that is able to be tweaked and is salvageable. Not salvageable like it's destructive or bad, but it's like there's a conscious knowing that you're not getting everything you want out of this situation, but you're able to plan for the future and create opportunities to make that happen. Like the difference between choice A and choice B would be like in choice A, you're choosing a job that maybe doesn't completely satisfy you or doesn't pay you as much as you would like, but you know it's a stepping stone to the career you truly want, or like doing this job is a temporary step into getting a promotion, or you know that there's a way for you to move forward to what you truly do want. Whereas like option B, that would be a job where you know there is no opportunity for growth, like your boss makes you miserable, or there's just an inability for you to have a say in what you want, and it seems like there's just zero opportunity for you to move forward, even though you may love what you do or be happy with what you're doing. So I definitely feel like whatever decision is for you, it's definitely based in how flexible the situation is and whether there is a glaring issue that is overtly blocking you from being happy. Because with choice A, it definitely seems like, I think it's really cool the differences in these Emperor cards. And with choice A, there's definitely this feeling of, I am choosing this situation knowing that there may be some frustrating elements of it, knowing that it isn't perfect and it's not everything that I want, but I can work with this and there's a deeper purpose to me choosing this. And not only that, this situation is not trapping me in a way where I can't still explore and expand upon what I'm doing. I definitely feel like with this flying card here, if you're making this decision and you don't feel like, you know, what you're trying to decide over is something that's like detrimental to your well-being, it isn't something you're necessarily ready to part with. I feel like if you choose choice A and kind of choose to continue expanding upon this, there's going to be a level of acceptance and empowerment in the recognition that the frustrations that come with this choice, or the things that you have to accept that come with this choice, are not only able to be mitigated or changed, you can start like making plans to make those changes happen. And with this flying card, I feel like there is this, you will have this moment of clarity where you're seeing your situation from a higher perspective and understanding like the value in choosing option A. It's like, okay, this isn't everything that I want, but it's leading me to more, and it's enough for me to stay open and be excited about what the future holds. It's like there's building blocks happening here, and there's also a level of peace in knowing that it's what you're choosing. It may not be the most perfect thing in the world. It may not be the choice with a cherry on top, but it's like you're able to create what you want. It's like, it's making me think of like buying a house that is definitely in need of some renovations, and knowing that you're gonna have to make sacrifices while you renovate this place, but you get to turn it into what you want, and you have the freedom to, you know, make the changes that make you happiest, rather than say, you know, moving to a place that's high up in your budget and like, you know, there's no wiggle room to change anything. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, I choose to sacrifice now in order to have more later. I also feel like with option A, there is the lack of satisfaction in certain areas is actually leading to very powerful transformation and growth within you. It's almost like choosing option A, like that is the right option for you if you know that like there is nothing that, like I said, is detrimental to your well-being or just fully stopping you from being in your power or being able to be yourself, from being in alignment with what you feel is your highest good. This is definitely a situation where it's like, okay, this is temporary. There's definitely more. There's definitely, I definitely have more to create, more ways to grow, and things I want to add and expand upon when it comes to this decision. But it's almost like that seeking and lack of full satisfaction is what is stimulating your transformation, your growth. And I feel like there is a level of peace and acceptance if you choose option A, where you're kind of recognizing like, this is where I'm meant to be. Like, it may not be everything that I want, you know, on paper, but I have the tools and the opportunities to get there. It may require patience, it may require planning, but it's all happening in a timing that makes sense for me. And I feel like even with this decision, it could be as well, like, if this is not something you want to leave entirely, but you're like wondering if the grass is greener on the other side or anything like that, I feel like if you choose option A, there's recognition that you like your own lawn, and that, you know, yeah, my lawn might need some TLC, my lawn might need some landscaping, but we'll get there and I'll turn it into what I want. And, you know, we all got to start somewhere. We got to start planting the seeds. And I definitely think that option A gives you room to continue exploring and really refine what it is that you want out of this choice, out of whatever this decision is in your life. And I feel like there's a level of optimism in the future and a level of like, there's much to be created here. It's almost like with option A, you've got kind of the bare bones of a situation, but now you have the opportunity to start building upon it and taking that foundation and turning it into something you truly want. And you're doing that on your own, maybe not all on your own in the sense that like you're doing everything yourself, but you're taking the lead in your own life. And there's a level of whatever frustrations that come with choosing option A, there's recognition of like, well, this is what I'm choosing, and I accept these frustrations, and I accept that in order to get to where I want to be, I have to deal with what is. And not only is that helping you grow, but also I feel like there's a level of resolve that you'll be cultivating where you recognize that sometimes in pursuit of a greater purpose or in pursuit of a higher ideal, you know, the grunt work or the work that needs to be done, while frustrating, the results can very much be worth it. And I feel like the cool thing is that this option A gives you the opportunity to start thinking, okay, what are the results I want? How do I want to build upon this? There's a lot of freedom in terms of taking the frustrations that currently exist and finding ways to minimize them or remove them entirely, and also just make your situation even better for you, and make choices that continue to build upon the future you want to see and that align with what you feel is true for you. Now, I feel like option B is different because I feel like option B for some of you is unavoidable because you know that there is something that is just inflexible. Like option A is where you know that like your situation is flexible and that it may not, like I said, be everything that you want. There is flexibility in making it that way and getting it there and helping it grow, and at the same time you're growing as well, and you're making plans and you're finding ways that make it even easier for you to accept the minor frustrations that may exist because you're already coming up with plans to reduce or eliminate that entirely. But for option B, I definitely feel like those of you may want option A to work out for you, but there is some inevitability that something has to end here because it is inflexible and incompatible with your happiness and with your own empowerment. And the thing that I will say here is that I feel like for those of you that I feel like I say like have to choose option B, because I feel like, you know, as humans, we're creatures of consistency and we never like endings. We never like to say goodbye. That's why we have 10 billion shitty sequels and reruns of shows we didn't need, because we love things that are familiar. We love nostalgia. But I feel like there's kind of a breaking point happening here where you're recognizing that even though whatever you're having to let go of or whatever you're having to release may be painful, by keeping it in your life, you're not only disempowering yourself, you're not only, you know, taking your own agency away, but you're also, you know, missing out on the opportunity to live a more joyful life. The cool thing about this endings and sad embrace is that as you process these feelings, which it won't be easy, like it never is easy to deal with loss and to let go of something that we love and care about. It's leading to so much joy and so much prosperity and abundance and positivity. And the thing that I love about this Emperor card for you is that when you move through this ending, not only will you have like this resolve in knowing like it needed to happen, and you might even have this feeling of, I wish I had done it sooner, but I needed that time to be ready to let go of it or let this end. I feel like you're going to be feeling so much more confident in yourself and unapologetic about your non-negotiables, about what isn't flexible for you. So, you know, for example, in the future, like let's say if this is job related, you know, you're not going to accept a job offer that's well under what you were asking with, you know, someone that's giving shady vibes or says like, oh, we're a family here and we expect, you know, people to always show up. You're going to be like, fuck that shit. Like, I can find a better job. I know my value. I know my worth. You know, another example would be a relationship where, you know, you're with someone who doesn't value your happiness, or, you know, even though, you know, there may be love there, you can't be yourself, or you can't grow in the ways that you need to, and it's incompatible with your individual needs. I definitely think there's recognition in the fact that, like, it will be hard to let go of it, and there will be change involved, but that ending will lead to a new beginning where not only are you more aware in the future of what comes towards you, like whether it is compatible with what's best for you or not, but also I just feel like there's so much room for joy. And I think that whatever it is that you need to let go of, or that is going to leave your life, because I think that's the thing. I feel like there are people that are meant to choose option A that are, you know, maybe catastrophizing the situation or worrying that like the grass is greener. And then I feel like there are people that need to choose option B, where it's like, this is an inflexible situation. You've tried to change things. You've tried to make it work. And every time it seems like you have to sacrifice your own well-being, your happiness, your independence, your freedom, your ability to just be in your power. That is who option B is for. And this is really interesting because, like, in the last two groups, there's definitely a lot more leniency and like more of this vibe of, you know, you choose. If you're this type of person, this choice is likely going to be best. But if you're this type of person, this is better. You know, and another group is like, well, if you're in this place in life, this is probably going to be better. And if you're in that place in life, this is probably going to be better. But for this group, it's like the viability and flexibility of your situation, I think, is a key factor here. And I feel like it's kind of a pretty cut and dry situation where my group A people know, like, okay, I know I'm where I'm meant to be. I'm not fully satisfied, but this is temporary. We're going to build upon it. It's going to grow. It's going to be different. And I see the value in me being here. Whereas for option B, it's like, this is not aligned with me. This is actively stopping me from being the best version of myself. This is... And it's probably one of those situations where it's like, it's painful to stay and it's painful to leave. And that's such a hard situation. And my heart really goes out to you if you're one of my option B people. Well, one of the small silver linings of this is that in making this choice, you are going to be very busy after making this choice. Like with the Two of Pentacles being here, there's definitely a balancing act that's happening. You're likely going to have to be a bit more cautious with your finances and have to be a little strategic about what decisions you're making. And it's likely going to be a time where you're quite busy as you readjust to this new way of living and adjust to a reality that's different. And I feel like that's actually going to be a really welcome thing, because it's going to allow you to not have to dwell on the pain that may come from this ending and this loss. But I feel so called to say, like, the Sun came out with these cards for a reason, because after you process this loss, you know, and that's not to say that feelings of missing this situation or you know, being sad that it's over may not resurface from time to time, but the joy that you will experience from choosing yourself and choosing to do the hard thing and let go of what is blocking you from your joy, from your growth, from what you deserve out of life, you're going to be so grateful you did it. And you're going to be so happy, and you're going to realize, like, I don't ever have to put myself in that situation again. And I can recognize from a mile away the warning signs of that situation resurfacing. Like, I love how this Emperor is almost even like a little smug. Like, you can't tell this Emperor shit. Like, he's been through it and he's come out on the other side a stronger kitty cat, and he knows his shit. And he also knows that he's got claws, and Kitty's gonna scratch if somebody tries to fuck with his joy, his bag, or his own power. And I feel like he is you, no matter what your pronouns are. But I definitely think that it's kind of, with option B, that the hard thing is like, you know, ripping the Band-Aid off and dealing with the process of moving through those painful emotions. Like I said, you know, the balancing act that you're going to have to deal with, and the amount of busyness you're going to be encountering, I do think that's going to be helpful. But as you move through it, things are going to get lighter and lighter, and you're just like, I feel like you know, that song, it's like, I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I could see all obstacles in my way. I feel like you're going to see why this situation had to leave your life, in order for you to feel good again, in order for you to be in your power. Because clearly whatever this ending is, it is something that is suppressing your spirit. It is something that is holding you down and keeping you stuck in a state of being that nobody deserves to be in. And so for my option A people, as you're hearing that, you're like, oh, that's not my situation. And that's why, you know, like the situation is salvageable. It's flexible. Whereas for my option B people, it's like, yeah, it's like, you know, deep down that's the truth, but it's just really hard to face. And it's just really hard to do the hard thing and let go of something that you love or something that you're attached to, and recognize that in order to have what you truly want, you have to let go of what isn't meant to be there and what you don't need. But I definitely think you're going to come out of that process, if choice B is the one that is meant for you, feeling like the baddest bitch in the world, and just feeling like unstoppable, and just recognizing that not only do you deserve to live a joyful life, live a life that makes you feel powerful and good, but also recognize everything that could possibly get in the way of that, and avoid situations where you could lose that in the future. I definitely think that one of the challenges of choice B is that it's probably not a choice you want to make, but it's a choice you have to make for your own well-being. Whereas choice A, it's a choice of uncertainty, where you're like, I don't know if this is the right thing because I'm just feeling uncertain. And then in choosing it and committing to it, you're recognizing there's a greater purpose for me being here. This does feel aligned with where I feel I'm meant to be, and it feels aligned with where I want to go in the future. So I'm willing to accept the challenges in the present and accept the frustrations that may exist, because I know it's leading me to greener pastures, and I know that I am able to create what I want in the future, and that process starts now. So I definitely think that this choice A, choice B is pretty cut and dry for all of you. If it's not, you may want to try a different group. But ultimately, it's like for both groups, it's like you have to sacrifice a feeling of comfort in the present in order to have a feeling of fulfillment in the future. And in doing so, you recognize the value in holding firm on decisions that you know are right for you, and you recognize the value of trusting your own gut, standing in your power, and not accepting situations as they are, especially if they don't serve you or they don't serve enough of what you need. There's definitely a powerful energy here, no matter what group you're in and what choice you're meant to make, where you're going to come through this situation just recognizing your ability to take the lead and what it is that you want, recognizing your own leadership abilities and your ability to stand in your power and say no to what doesn't work for you, and to also just recognize like what is worth your time and what is nonsense, what is worthy of you pursuing and what is a lost cause. Like I definitely think that both of you, like whether both of you, like there's two of you here, no matter what your situation is, there's a lot of wisdom to come from it. And no matter what, there's like a level up, like you're bossing up and you're not taking a passive role in your life anymore. You're not gonna let your life be on autopilot. You're taking the wheel and you're driving that car in the direction that you know your joy is in, and accepting what the journey brings along with that, which I just think is really badass. And I think you're badass, and of course you are. Like literally the Emperor popped out in both groups. Like no matter what decision you have to make, it's a badass one. And I think you're a badass, and I think one of your affirmations should be, I am a badass. So let's go ahead and get some guidance for you and just see what Spirit wants you to know in general about this decision that you do have to make, and just see like, you know, what's the best energy to be in when it comes to making this decision, things like that. So to start, we have the sacral chakra with guilt. And I'm actually going to read the guidebook for this card because I've done that in the other groups, and I feel like this guidebook's really helpful. This is the Chakra Wisdom Oracle, and every picture comes with a little story. So this says, I am sorry, but I have to take care of myself. The story is, Apricot is truly a saint. She sets aside her own needs and happiness to help others, even allowing freeloading friends to get involved in her business. One day, her latest business partner announces that she wants to dissolve their company and split the profits. Apricot stands up to her. The company is hers, and she did all of the work, while the so-called partner did nothing. Now she will only give from her excess, not from her reserve. So the inspiration is, do not do for others what they need to do for themselves. Speak truth from your heart. Honesty is freedom. Any guilt is fear of being disliked. And the personal inquiry is, am I giving away too much time and energy and resenting it? Is my anger really guilt? That's powerful. And the key ideas of self-care, burdened by obligations, enabling others, finding personal power, and the keywords are awareness, awakening, and release. And the little meditation says, imagine chains holding you down. As you relax, the links weaken one by one. See and hear each one fall to the ground. With each thud, see a chunk of fear and guilt fall away. When you are free, get up and walk into a glowing apricot light. What happens then? So if you try the meditation, let me know how it works. But I feel like this is really powerful because I definitely think that, like, especially for those that need to choose group B, I definitely feel like there is a level of needing to recognize that you should never feel guilty for doing what you need to do, and you should never feel guilty for choosing your own happiness and choosing, like, just not being miserable in life and having power and a say over what happens in your life. And if you're in option A, I definitely feel like you don't need to feel guilty for wanting more and expecting more and anticipating more. You don't need to feel guilty for being ambitious, and you don't need to feel guilty for not being satisfied with what you already have. You know, I definitely think no matter what position you're in, there's an opportunity. Like, the Emperor doesn't feel guilty about his ambitions. The Emperor doesn't say, oh, I'm sorry, but can you do this? The Emperor commands. The Emperor, a healthy Emperor, will listen and will, you know, engage in dialogue and will do what's logical and create structure. But the Emperor does not people please. And the Emperor is not going to be like, I'm sorry, but can you do your job that I hired you to do? The Emperor is going to be like, we need to talk about your job performance because it's not flying. You know, like, the Emperor is not allowing feelings of obligation or shame to impact his ability to run his life and his empire. And neither should you. So we also have fuel. I enjoy doing things that fuel me. It feels great to do things for myself just as much as I do for others. When I make sure I am taken care of, I can better show up for those in my life and do the work that I do. So I feel like that's really huge too, especially for option A, because, like, I feel like there may be some, it's almost like in doing these tweaks, you're able to create more stability for yourself and more opportunities to receive. And I feel like if you're choosing option B, you're literally getting rid of the blockages that are stopping you from receiving what it is you actually need and being able to be the version of yourself you know you can be, which is very powerful. We also have, you are very close to achieving your goals. So I feel like no matter what, you know, if you're picking option B, you might find that you get over the sadness of this loss a lot quicker when you realize how much lighter you feel and how much happier you are. And if you're choosing option A, you may realize the changes that you're wanting to make come about a lot faster than you even realized. And maybe it's just a matter of you speaking it into existence or starting to make those plans and seeing them come into reality. We also have to look at the bigger picture. So yeah, I definitely think that there is encouragement for you to look at, you know, what is the ultimate goal and the viability of the situation. And like I said, you know, option A, there is flexibility and room for growth and the ability to add on and create more of what you want. Whereas with option B, there is some sort of rigidity that will not allow you to have that flexibility that option A has, where you know you just have to end this situation and stop that blockage in its tracks before it can hold you back any further. We also have surrender stress, which is so much easier said than done. Take a few deep breaths and exhale the tension you've built up in your body. Let the stress go as you come back to your center. I mean, that is a really worthy pursuit, though, to really try and minimize and reduce stress. And I feel like no matter what choice you're making, it's helping you get there. But I also feel like if a lot of your stress is centered around the reactions of others, or like the judgments of others, you really need to like recognize that that's not even stress you should be carrying. What others think is none of your business, and it doesn't fucking matter. Like, it really doesn't. I know we're social creatures and we worry about what other people think, but ultimately you're not going to be on your deathbed being like, I'm really sad that my neighbor from 26 years ago didn't like my lawn ornaments. Like, fuck your neighbor from 26 years ago that didn't like your lawn ornaments. Like, they can shove a lawn ornament right up their tuchus. Shouldn't matter to you. And if it does, that's a place where you want to look at, like, maybe this is where I can do some inner work and empower myself by recognizing that people are allowed to have their opinions of me and people are allowed to have their judgments, but that doesn't have to impact what I feel is right, and their judgments don't have to be my truth. That's just a reflection of where they're at in their consciousness. And finally, we have to be fair. And so I definitely think that there is encouragement for you to do what's fair for yourself, and also recognize that if you are valuing the needs of others over your own, or feeling like what's fair is the thing that disempowers you or leaves you miserable, that's not fair. It's not fair if you don't count yourself into the equation. And I also think that, like, if you're choosing option A, if you're an option A person, I feel like you need, like, this fairness is definitely about recognizing, like, okay, this is what's doable in this amount of time, and kind of recognizing, like, yes, with every, like, there are pros and cons to everything, and recognizing that, like, in order to have the bigger picture of what you want, this is what we have to do now. Whereas, like, if you are in group B, I feel like your idea of what's fair could be heavily skewed by someone who's taken advantage, or something that has taken advantage of your kindness, your work, or whatever you've brought to the table for them. And so I really think that they have maybe altered your idea of what's fair, and in choosing yourself made you feel like choosing what's fair is unfair to them. If that is the case, with peace and love, I don't give a single fuck about them or its fairness. All you need to be concerned about is what's fair for you. If they have a problem with it, they can take a lawn ornament up the tuchus. That's their problem. So pile 3, that is where I'm going to leave this reading. I would definitely love to know, like, what group are you in and what's going on. If you want to share, thank you to all those who do. But that's where I'm leaving this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. That is one of the simplest and easiest ways to show support and appreciation for my channel, so thank you to everyone who does. But if you would like to show support or appreciation any other ways, you can like this video, comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You could subscribe if you haven't already, and click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out my candles. We have mini candles out. Definitely check those out, and be sure to use code ASO10 for 10% off. You can check out my merch, you can check out my social media, but that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video. I love you guys so much, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye!